It's funny that today we've all been talking a little bit about liquidity concern or not liquidity rather, but leverage concerns in the crypto market, and that's actually something Bastian and I talked about, um, on Tuesday. So,
Yeah,
slightly ahead.
there are some concerns about MicroStrategy actually. So yeah,
Leverage, right.
yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're going to talk about leverage in the crypto space, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no better example than MicroStrategy, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting that people are finally giving it some attention, and that episode is gonna come out on Monday because obviously I'll be traveling, it's Thanksgiving week, so I won't be having too much time to do anything other than work, on the actual books, as much as I like doing this, but yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
How was your day? I'm sure you were busy.
Oh, yeah. Buying put options. We took
Yeah?
four day trades today. Yeah. In and out,
Excellent.
in and out, in and out. Since they were selling rips all day long, it was an easy one. I mean, today was an easy. I mean, you need to know what you're doing, of course, but
But I
today
mean, it
was
was
an
one
easy.
the trade was in one direction. Yeah,
Correct. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
an easy tip. You just needed to sell the rip on the right time, and we did it. And the second they broke our pivot earlier on today, 672, $672 was our pivot today. I mean, there was like good night green, and it was a super flush down. I told you
Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
week on Thursday that I was very concerned about the internals of the markets. And take a look. Today we tested the 100 DMA to the penny.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna close below it, it looks like we closed just
Hmm.
above it, I think I saw you put that in the Discord,
Yeah, I
uh,
did. Hmm.
but it's still an
It's
engulfing
rising.
bearish.
It could act as support, and I think that the message that the markets are sending, that the message that the markets, yeah, are sending, we can say, is that they want a correction, unless we have a, I don't know, a liquidity issue.
So, yeah,
Yields have been rising in Japan, so I don't know. Maybe that's another reason why we could have some liquidity issues in the markets. But
well,
um,
it's the return of the yen carry trade where people have
mhm,
been, taken out, basically going short the yen to go long Bitcoin and US tech stocks, just like back, I think it was last year in August when they were forced to close those shorts,
mhm.
because
September of last year, actually.
September of last year, excuse me.
Correct.
Maybe we're seeing that again. I happen to think this could just be again, I don't want to give away too much, and I don't want to misquote Bastion, but he has it according to him and his research. There are whales selling in the crypto space, and I don't think it's going to matter what Michael Saylor does. Like he might end up that strategy MSRT might be in the process of a forced liquidation of Bitcoin
Hmm.
that
Yep.
could take everything lower.
I think that
It's interesting.
MicroStrategy itself is the main reason why the crypto space is pulling back this way.
I th- it's
I mean,
definitely a huge
it's a
contributor in
time
my mind.
bomb. It's a time
It's and
bomb. I've been warning about MicroStrategy for for quite some time. This is a time bomb.
the only
This is a tragedy waiting to happen.
Oh yeah. The
And
the
I
the
mean,
only thing that I did today,
mhm,
aside from sell a couple of like small trades I put on a couple weeks ago that have just completely fallen out of bed technically, is I bought some puts on NBIS, extremely short term. They're going to this is, for lack of a better term, a gamble, but it is an informed gamble. It, just like the market had an engulfing bear candle where you opened above the prior day and then closed below the prior
mhm.
day. So basically, bulls tried to assert themselves, and the bears smacked the crap out of them. And the bulls actually ended up losing ground in the process. It closed right at its 100 or right below. Actually, I can just pull up
Okay.
I'll just show you. But that's the only thing I did today. Like, it's hard to get too,
Oh, it was
like
very
a lot
busy.
of damage is already being done. So we'll see.
Hmm. Some stocks kind of, were able to hold up a bit better than other stocks. So in the case of Meta, at least I noticed that it respected the 580 buck
It
level.
did. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a bloodbath across the board. I mean,
Yeah.
you can also make a case that Netflix only went down, $4 and stuff like that. So, but it was. I mean, I haven't checked on the breadth. I can do it once you explain to me that chart. But I mean, it was a very ugly day, and the expansion of the volatility then was impressive.
Oh
So
yeah, I mean,
we took 4 day trades in the Discord in Spanish with put options, and every single trade done was closed in 45 seconds.
VIX up
Unbelievable.
11. You know,
Yeah,
it's
but correct, but the expansion of the volatility. So the appreciation of the value of the put options was impressive, man. And it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
and I was buying out of the money puts, $10, Qs and SPY. And
Mhm.
bro, I was like notifying the trades to the members of our Patreon in Spanish. And the second I was uploading the trade alert, I was getting out.
Yeah.
45 seconds, 30
Good
seconds.
day for you.
Extreme impressive, man.
Mhm.
Very, very impressive. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the case of NVIS, you were going to
Oh yeah, sorry.
show me
We can,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull that back up. Let's make it easier for me later.
Uh-huh.
This is just the a 6-month chart of MBIS, which is another one of those data center plays similar to CoreWeave that inked a massive deal with Microsoft. 513 day went negative actually, several sessions ago. So if you listen to this,
Hmm.
you did very well getting out or shorting it. But that's not the trade. The trade is a little bit more concise and simple. If you zoom in on the last couple of days here, this was the prior day candle, and here's today. So you opened above the high of yesterday and closed below the low. We call that an engulfing bear. It's an
Yeah.
idea that bears have asserted control over the stock. And in my experience, it's like a 60-40 chance you get follow through. And if you look at a slightly
Take a look
larger
at the
time frame,
volume. Take a look at the volume.
I know it's a
Wow,
pretty big
massive,
candle.
man. Massive.
What actually
Yeah.
led me to do it was the fact it closed just below the 100. The fact that the bulls couldn't take it back and it's tested a handful of times, clearly in a downtrend, as you can see. So
Hmm.
I got puts that expire tomorrow and then the end of next week. I did a spread where I bought the $85 strike and sold the $75 strike. So I laid about I think it was a little expensive. I laid about 1.5 to $2 for a potential to grab 10 if it works out in its entirety, but it's a little bit harder to monitor those.
Yeah, 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 of
The
course.
only other thing I want to show you with this
And by the
chart.
way, this
Hmm,
stock soared yesterday
yeah.
once Nvidia
Yeah, it was
reported.
up like 10% yesterday.
So, I mean, the fact that Nvidia gave up all of the gains from yesterday was in and of itself extremely impressive because the earnings report of Nvidia was absolutely phenomenal, and it gave up all of the gains. So
Yeah,
that implies that the markets. So that implies that we are in front of a change of character of the markets as a whole. But what I am curious about is the fact that December is just around the corner. So we
right.
know that we have a bunch of fund managers that are underperforming at, I mean, to say the least, the S&P 500. So the temptation to start to buy the dip, I'm not gonna say tomorrow or maybe next week, but say that we go lower and it looks like we're going lower, 7%, 8%, maybe 10%. We get a
Sure.
regular, 10% correction. The temptation to buy the dip on so many stocks that, by the way, have reported way better than expected. We're talking about, Amazon or Meta or Nvidia or whatever it is. The temptation is going to be huge. So, me personally, I could be mistaken, and I only trade the charts in front of me. I don't see a scenario in which we drop for the remaining of the year, unless, as you just said, and we never know. We are we are in the midst of a liquidity issue that neither you and I know if that is the case as of now. But if this is like a regular 10% market correction, I think that the dip is likely to be bought up sooner rather than later because December is just around the corner, bros. I mean, next or not next week, but the week after that. So it's not a good setup for the Bears, I think, unless
Eh,
something unexpected happens.
it's difficult. I think you said it well when when you mentioned that the character of the market is changing.
Uh-huh.
I said a couple of weeks ago, I think when the market had like its first down open in a couple of days on some bad news, that the markets don't top on bad news, they tend to top on good news.
Hmm.
I don't know what news could have been better than Nvidia's report. And I don't
Right.
know what changes the character of the market from selling rips, especially when Nvidia, I mean, for lack of a better term, put their ball sacks on the table and said 65 billion in the next 3 months. no China, and it just
Unbelievable.
wasn't enough to keep people involved. So
The, re-
you
the
need to
report
be
was
cautious here.
this.
But to your point, earnings is clearly not the problem. We've had amazing earnings reports. Guidance has been fantastic. So if you're looking at stocks on a valuation basis, they're all getting cheaper, genuinely cheaper. The earnings are going
Yeah.
up and the price is coming down. You're getting multiple compression, and I don't see a systemic risk to the market. If anything, I think this is the market screaming to the Fed that they need to rethink this whole idea that the labor market is as strong as it is, or the idea that somehow the labor market got better while the government shutdown was happening during a period where there was 40 days worth of government liquidity behind the shutdown wall. There's a lot of companies and individuals that
I mean,
rely on the treasury sending those checks. I
today
mean,
we
it's
got
a
the
silly stance.
today we got the jobs report of September. I mean, no
That's a
comments.
little late for me.
I'll go
A little
figure.
late for me.
Can you see the sectors? So these are the 11 sectors that
All I
trade.
see is our Discord, actually.
Oh my bad. So I should have. Oh, hold. My bad. So
You're fine. You're fine.
let,
I'll edit that out. It's not a big
let
deal.
me share my screen again. Let me
I
see.
thought you were going to show some of the call outs. You're okay.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm just no, no. But I don't get. So hold. Let me see. It looks like I cannot share the screen that I am trying
Are you
to
trying to
share
share the
with you.
market mover screen?
No, yeah, but I should be able to do it, bro. Let me see. Let me
Yeah.
try it
Yeah.
again. Okay, can you now see Burchard?
Yeah. You're Koifin.
Coifin, my bad. Burchard,
Yeah.
Coifin. So the 11 sectors that trade inside the S&P 500, an ugly day across the board. The only sector that closed in positive territory was consumer staples, up 0.72%. Other than consumer staples, the other 10 sectors closed in negative territory. Technology down 3%. Ugly.
Yeah.
Consumer discretionary down 1.53%. And take a look at the market movers. And this, so the picture of the stocks that were going up and down pre-market today was super positive. And take a look
Mhm.
at the closing of the major indices today.
That's
When
the
it comes to
Russell, right?
when it comes to the to the
That's
breadth
the Russell.
itself. So correct. So
Yeah.
1,385 stocks going down and only 549 stocks going up. Let's go see the S&P 500. Take a look at the term, man. This is impressive.
Yeah.
352 stocks going down and only 151 stocks going up. And of course, the gainers have to do with the stocks that close way, way, way below most of them the today's high.
Yeah.
So they close at sessions low, at the sessions low, most of them. And then we have the Nasdaq 100, ugly as well. 80. Wow, take a look at this. 89 stocks going down and 12 stocks going up.
Yeah.
Today, when the trading session opened, we had way
Oh
more
wow.
stocks going up than down. So
Yes.
it was extremely ugly,
It was
man.
amazing. The breadth. Yeah.
Yeah, the breath was
All right.
terrible. And of course, something that is worth pointing out is
Mhm.
our dear. Let me see if I can show you
Go
the
ahead.
yeah our 100-day moving average. So take a look. Yeah, we visited the 100 DMA to the penny. Look. So
Yep. Yep. Yep.
from all-time highs down to the 100 DMA, this is a 6% drop.
Yeah.
Maybe not enough, but
Well, we'll find out.
we'll find out. Correct. But the
It's
markets
been it's
paid a
been
visit.
hundreds of trading days without a real test of anyone's will. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, look. So the SPY or the S&P 500, it's the same, didn't visit or hasn't visited the 100 DMA since on mid-May. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think we
quite some time.
lost it because that's us regaining it. I think we lost it in February or March when the tariff thing was just
Yeah,
starting
of
to.
course. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
recaptured, correct. It was recaptured
Mhm.
in early May.
A
We,
retest. I see the retest. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
correct. This was a retest back in mid May, and now we are seeing another test. And
Yeah.
as of now, we are 6% off the most recent all-time highs. So we'll see. We are below a declining 5-day moving average, below the 50 DMA, below the 20 DMA, of course, as well. Some
Yeah.
people were talking today about the 200 DMA, $613.
It's natural. Once you get below the 100-day, I think the 150 day is actually between the 100 and 200 because we've been in such a grind of an uptrend higher. But
Yeah,
if you break the 100-day, you have a date with the 150. You break the 150, you have a date with the 200. It's just the way of things until something changes.
yeah, and get this. Say
Hmm.
that we actually pay a visit um, to say the SPY goes down to the 200 DMA.
Hmm.
That 200 DMA, as of now, I mean, this is a slow moving average, but it moves. It is so this moving average is signaling $613. This is the previous all-time highs
Hmm.
before the tariff, fiasco that we saw in early April.
Hmm.
So, what about pre-testing or making a test of a former all-time highs after the
We
markets,
would we would need to
before
fall pretty quickly for those two to line up when they.
correct,
Yeah. Hmm.
correct because
It's possible. It's
it is a moving
possible. Yeah.
average. It is
Yeah. Yeah.
it's in motion, but
Hmm.
it is a
It's
slow
slow.
moving
It's
average. So at
slow.
some
To your
point
point. Your
we
point. To
could
your
be
point.
like
Yeah. Mhm.
we could be like kind of coinciding with the 200 DMA. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into the longest cold open ever. This is episode 22 of Charts and Checks. Normally, we go over a handful of stocks from a fundamental, technical, and financial perspective, but I don't really think that makes a lot of sense today. I think instead
Mhm.
it makes sense to maybe go over some of the technical charts. In Alvaro, I know we didn't really prep this time around because of all the craziness. Both of us were busy today,
Yeah.
but I think it probably makes sense in a time where emotions are high and we have some pretty crazy moves in the VIX, some pretty terrible breath. Maybe we just solely take a look at a handful of technical charts because that will take the emotion out of it. Uh,
Sure.
and then maybe we can finish up with talking a little bit about what we're both going to be looking for as a sign of the bottom. Sound good?
We can take it. We're gonna, yeah, of course. We can also
Yeah.
take a look at the Fed futures, which are indicating that the Fed might be might not be cutting rates in December. I think they will be cutting rates. I have
Yep.
my own theory about it. We can talk about that as well. And of course, that is bad news for risk and assets. And well, Bitcoin, IWM, higher multiple
Mhm.
stocks, all of those getting decimated. So I don't know. Do you have a chart that you want to share?
Oh
Or
yeah, sure. I mean, we could start just with the S&P, and I don't want to go over exactly what you went over again. You made a
Mhm,
good point that the bulls can maybe rest on the fact that we technically closed above the 100-day, which for me is in blue.
mhm.
However, this is the same setup with
What
NVIS
level
that
do
I
you have
mentioned.
there in the SPX? Because I just went off. I just went over the SPY.
This is SPX.
Yeah, yeah, correct. The SPX. So what level? So that is a level of the S&P 500. What level do you have?
Yes,
Do you have
that's the 100-day is okay, actually mine says we closed below the 100-day, but I've seen other charts that
slightly
say
below?
that
Mhm.
it it's close. It's close. What I wanted to point out though is while this 100-day, I don't think you could look at this close and say it's clearly been broken, which is a good thing for the bulls. But you do have this engulfing bear candle where the bulls tried to reassert themselves. They opened above the 50-day, lost it, and closed below the prior day's low. So, this to me is an indication that the bears are making a bid to take control in the short term. But this particular candle only matters if you get follow through the next session, which would be basically you open lower than where we close today and you close lower. And then you can make an argument that the Bears really have a lot of control. So that is what I'm looking for, in the next 24 hours. That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, it was a very ugly close
No, it was yeah,
and
terrible.
a super ugly close. But we closed right at right a rising 100 DMA. So that 100 DMA is rising. So the
Mhm.
slope of the moving average could potentially help the bulls. It
Yeah.
could be it could be pushing price up, but it was a very ugly trading session, and definitely fear was out there. So we can make three cases here, maybe done as you
Yep.
just pointed out. Like the markets are screaming for a rate cut in December, which according to the Fed futures might not be
I think
happening.
we closed at like a 39% probability of a
Mhm.
rate cut today,
Correct. So
something like that. Yeah.
60%, a 60% probability. I can check. I think I have the.
Actually, I literally have it.
Oh, you
Hold
have it.
on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is as of today. I'll refresh this page just to make
Mhm.
sure. 39.6% chance of a rate cut,
60%
60.4% chance
no
that we
rate cut.
hold where we are.
Mhm. It is November 20th. And I
Correct.
think that if this administration wanted to force a rate cut in December, they can do it. We can get a super cooked CPI reflecting very low inflation. And if that is the case, I think that the Fed might be willing to cut rates in December. But I mean, I am not going to make So I cannot make a federal case out of that, but I
Uh-huh.
think that that is a card that this administration could be playing. Super cooked, fake CPI data report saying that inflation is at 0.1%, and by doing so, they could be maybe forcing Powell to cut rates on
I'm
December
not
10th.
I'm not necessarily willing to make the jump that the books would be cooked, but I am willing to say that I really don't understand how, in any circumstance, the base case for the Fed is that a government shutdown where liquidity from the government was on hold for 40 days, people weren't being paid, and other organizations that rely on government funding weren't getting funding, that somehow, some way, the labor market got stronger or that inflation somehow got higher with people who were clearly not spending as much money. In my opinion, I feel as though the Fed is being irresponsible and dogmatic by just basically saying, "Hey, look, we're reading. We have these alternative measures that we've never used before." And to be fair, I don't think the labor market is falling out of bed, but it
I mean,
seems odd.
we got today. We got a better than expected
Yeah,
jobs report.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
just
and I'm
need
not.
a
And I'm
better than expected inflation report, and yeah,
well, better than expected job report, but unemployment did tick up a tenth from to 4.4 from 4.3. There are people at the BLS that said that was statistically insignificant. I've never heard anyone from the BLS comment on the quality or the statistical significance of a raise in the unemployment rate. But I guess the point I'm making is here, I think the market has overestimated how hawkish the Fed has become. But to be fair, when Powell came, I can't remember when their last meeting was. Was it September, October meeting, where Powell said there is no guarantee. It's far from a guarantee of a rate cut. I think he was so hawkish then because at that time, the markets were 99.9% certain we were getting a cut. And I think he wanted to maintain optionality, but now he's gone too far the other direction.
yeah. But so on the flip side, the markets know that we are getting like super lower rates next year. So
Probably.
the government will be
Probably.
taking over the Fed.
Mhm.
The Fed will end up losing all
He'll
of its
well, he'll need to
independence,
get the Senate.
and yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So I think that it's a given that, or it's very likely that
Well,
we're
oh,
having like way lower rates next year
these are
once
yeah,
the go
these are 2
what
different conversations.
correct once the government takes over the Fed. So I don't know if the markets are so concerned about that. But I mean, maybe the markets are just like screaming a bit because they would rather having the rate cut in December. But I mean, in my opinion, I think that and we'll discuss this probably in December. I think we're having a very good inflation report. You know,
I don't think the
our
Fed
we have it coming our way, and maybe the Fed might be cutting rates in December. But I
well, I
mean,
think
we'll see.
again, I don't wanna I think I see where you're going, but I guess the point I'm making is I fundamentally disagree with the Fed's base case that inflation is getting worse and that the labor market is somehow getting better or firming up during the period of the government shutdown. So when we get the next batch of inflation data, it's going to incorporate a consumer and a business environment where one of the largest participants in business, the US government, wasn't open. And I think a payroll of over 1 million employees wasn't paid. So inflation should come lower. So should retail sales. So should growth. I feel like the data is going, because of the government shutdown, the data I think should tell us that the Fed should cut in December. And I think we'll get that cut. The only issue is we're not going to get the jobs report until I think 1 or 2 days for November, the November job report in December. We're not going to get that until a day or two after the FOMC meeting. If I were the Fed, and I'm going to parrot Steve Leisman here, I think it makes sense. If you're really data dependent, you move the meeting. You move the meeting 2 days, you get the
Because
jobs report, and then you make a decision.
yeah, but today we got the jobs report of September. So I mean, I think that the
It's
jobs report of October will not be released actually.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a data black hole. But I mean, Alvaro, does the September jobs report actually matter?
I mean,
No, I mean, in your opinion. In
it
your
came out
opinion.
better than expected, and today the markets went down a lot. I mean, I think the Fed, I think the Fed will likely be cutting rates in December. They will be forced to, and next year. So the other concern for the markets is, or potentially, right, the AI spending and the AI bubble, but we can rule it out. Jensen said yesterday that the demand is off the charts and the earning support of Nvidia was very good. So
Not
the
to
stock,
not to
the stock got
repeat
annihilated today after having
not
reported.
to repeat everything from the cold open, but I feel like you're right. These earnings are fantastic. Jensen did a pretty good job walking the rope, talking about the depreciation issue, talking about the fact that commitments or letters of intent, LOIs, are not the same thing as signed contracts with respect to Nvidia's dealings with OpenAI. He did a great job in the quarter. Again, he met the whisper number without selling into China. I think this.
He actually exceeded the whisper
Yes,
number. They were waiting for 64 billion, and they guided on 66 billion for
66,
the
65.
66,
Okay.
60,
Okay.
65, high is 65, 60, almost
You
66
can
billion
round
left.
up. We can give him a
You
couple.
can round it up.
We can give him a
So
couple 100 million. I
report
don't
was
mind.
unbelievable, and he was asked about the AI bubble. He said there's no bubble. The demand
Mhm.
is out there.
Well, I mean, of course he did, but yeah.
The demand is off the charts. So I mean that was supposed to be one of the concerns of the market. So you can roll it out. Then we can talk about liquidity. So are we maybe in the midst of a liquidity issue because of the situation that is going on as of now in Japan, or maybe because the markets are kind of concerned about MicroStrategy, maybe blowing up
Mhm.
sooner rather than later? And yeah, I mean that could also be that's also a possibility. So who
I
knows?
want to succinctly, I think, summarize what we've said, which is earnings have been amazing, and the most important company in the world just reported amazing earnings. So earnings are probably not the reason the market is going down. It's probably something else, which is why you have to look to the other. You have to look at the Fed funds future situation. You have to look at the liquidity situation. You have to look at the leverage situation in Bitcoin. I think
Take a
we agree that earnings are not the problem in this market.
mhm.
It's something else. So go ahead. This is
take a
a
look
strategy.
take a look at this disaster, man. Unbelievable. So check this out. This stock, which should be a Bitcoin proxy, is let me see. So this thing is what's the all-time highs here? Let me double check on this.
It's more than cut in half, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the all-time highs is $539. This stock is 70% of its most recent
Yeah, that's
all-time highs.
gross.
Correct. So it should be tracking Bitcoin. But check this out. If you go ahead and take a look
It hasn't tracked Bitcoin in a
at
while.
BTC, correct. So something is going on here then. So Bitcoin as of now, and these are the Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin is down 30%. This thing is down, I don't know, 60%. It is down twice um relative to Bitcoin. So I mean, and by the way, today I saw something on X that supposedly the average price of the Bitcoin that strategy is holding as of now, or MicroStrategy is holding as of now, is $75,000. So that's the average price.
I
Is he going to get a margin call
I've
if
heard similar
Bitcoin
things.
goes below 75,000? So I think this is a tragedy waiting to occur, and maybe the markets are concerned also about this. I mean, take a look at this disaster.
I think that's what it is. If you had to ask me what I think's drawing on the markets, it's this. We're at different times, Bitcoin and crypto acts as a sort of measure of investors' willingness to participate in speculation. It's like a risk appetite meter. And when it's falling out of bed like this and having really weak bounces at key levels of support, people start asking questions. And if you've if you invested in Bitcoin, at the beginning of the year or anytime, before the massive run up from like, 50,000 to 100, you probably are like, why am I still holding this thing now that it looks like it might roll over? Let's take some profits and find something else to do. I can't blame people for that, especially I would imagine that crowd is in tune and is looking at that chart of tragedy or strategy, whatever it's called, and they're like,
MicroStrategy.
"Let me get the hell out of here," because if that blows up and they become a forced liquidator, they own 3.6% of the Bitcoin in circulation right now. If they become a forced seller, it could
And
be a huge,
mind you,
huge issue.
Don, I know, remember this to the penny that Deutsche Bank was buying the convertible bonds of MicroStrategy.
Well, we might be in trouble too.
So we had some banks out there buying these garbage dead issuances of Microstrategy. So who knows what could be behind all of this? But if you take, and again, let me pull up once again the chart. If you take a look at a technical chart of Microstrategy, this could be a big concern for the markets, and maybe we didn't know this. Maybe this could be tied to some, I don't know, maybe some credit issues in the private market. So I mean, so if this snowball starts to go down, we don't know how big, how huge this could get, right? I mean, you never know.
Correct.
So this could be another concern for the markets. Let's just put it away. Because
Yeah.
so here's the deal.
Yeah.
And let me pull up here a technical chart of Nvidia. So I guess that there are a lot of people
Mhm.
confused out there today. Many
What
people
an
confused about
ugly
this.
candle.
So
Yeah.
this company reported an unbelievable earnings report. They upguided. They let's say that they affirmed the fact that demand is of the short, that the
We're
demand
still early.
is out there. Correct. That we are, as Dan Ives says.
Yeah.
Jensen reiterated that we are still, in the second or third inning, and that we're going to be batting until 5 a.m. or something like that. And take a look at so this is the perfect definition of a gap and crap. Look, test of the 20 DMA couldn't hold the support. 50-day moving average couldn't hold the support. 5-day moving average couldn't hold the support. And after hours, Nvidia
Still going.
is trading below the 100 DMA. So absolutely ugly, but there's nothing wrong going on with Nvidia as of now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so mm, a lot of people will be asking themselves today, like, what happened here? What is going on? And if you cannot answer that question, you just need to respect the technical chart that is in front of you. And you
Mhm.
have to be careful as of now because, I mean, most technical charts out there look
They've
horrible.
fallen apart today,
Correct.
without a doubt.
And
Yeah.
today's price action was
It's really bad.
absolutely horrible. So if you
This
didn't
this
know if you didn't know how to put together what is going on as of now, just just follow the technical charts. Go ahead, bro.
this is don't get me wrong, this is not actually worse than what happened in April, but this is worse
Oh,
in the fact that we don't really know why it's happening. You
but
know what I
that's
mean?
yeah. I
Like,
mean, back in April. So yeah, when the first status were announced, they were activating a nuclear bomb
uh
inside the world economy,
yeah, they
and
were
it was deactivated. Perfect. And we rallied, until way past all time highs. So as of now, it's like you cannot tell what is going on. Of course. And to your point, back in April, we knew what was the reason.
yes.
We knew what was going
It
on. Of
was it
course.
was something you could understand. It was like
Correct.
this is
It's a
just
terrorist.
like
Yeah. Hmm.
this was a great report. Why are we dropping? And yeah, I think that that's actually a great segue into looking at some of the charts again. And I want to show people like aside from tomorrow, where I already mentioned, if we get a lower open followed by a lower close, that would be confirmation that the engulfing bearish candle could be giving way to a new downtrend. But
Uh-huh.
I just want to show this 6 month of the S&P 500 real quick with a Fibonacci retracement level from the this is from August 1st. This is that one bad day we had, and everyone bought it back up. I don't know if there's a report or something, but either way, it was the one. And then since then we've gone up. And today we lost a 50% retracement of that gain, which is 65.70. If we get below a 61.8% retracement, which is 64.88 and 54 cents, you have to start thinking that you're going to revisit 62.20. In other words, in the world of Fibonacci retracement, if you can't hold 61.8, you generally retrace the whole gain. Now, we have a handful of moving averages that could get in the way of that, but just so people know, the next level I'm really looking at is 64.88, or maybe you can just say, 6,500. Give it a fat round number. The S&P, it's a big thing. It trades in a range, but that's the level I'm looking at, the 61.8% retracement from the August 1st to October 29th rally. Excuse me.
Good call out. Take a look at this. Let me show you this, by the way. Take a look at the RSP. It is down
Oh yeah, that was ugly too.
as much as the S&P 500. So
Yeah, that was weird.
this
That was
was an
weird.
inclusive sell-off, bro,
Mhm.
across the board. So the S&P has, so we said almost 6% of the highs of the most recent all-time highs. The RSP, which is the equal weight of the S&P 500, as of now is 5.20%. It is actually
Yeah,
so
whatever.
I mean pretty much the same thing. A bit a bit higher relative to the S&P 500
Mm,
if we compare it relative to the most recent all-time highs. So a very inclusive sell-off. So, the net aggregate opinion of the markets isn't seeing anything positive as of now. So that's very obvious. And I wouldn't be very concerned unless we break the 200-day moving average to the downside. If we happen to break the 200 DMA, in the case of the RSP, it is signaling. Oh, sorry, I have this
you're fine.
percentage wise, and I have to change this. Hold on there. Yeah, in the case of the RSP, we're looking at $180. In the case of the S&P 500, let me go to the SPX. In the case of the SPX, yeah, that 200 DMA is at 6,175 points. I mean, if we break that 200 DMA, maybe, I don't know, we are maybe dealing with something, more important
Correct.
than it appears to be as of now. But I mean, we cannot make a federal case out of this. A 5% pullback. We
Mhm.
found support at a rising 100 DMA today. Can
Right.
it bounce a tape tomorrow? We'll see what happens.
Mm.
But I don't know. The fact, I guess, Dan, that the fact that there's no logical explanation to what is going on, is a bit eye-catching, I would say, right? That like every company is killing it. Nvidia reported very well, and Amazon killed it, and Microsoft killed it, and Meta killed it as well. And we keep going down. They are selling the rip. That's interesting.
And depending
And
on who you talk and depending on who you talk to, or rather, depending on what company you're looking at, valuations aren't crazy. Nvidia 30 times forward, growing at 60 something percent. What's the other one I was taking a look
Nvidia got
at?
cheaper actually
Nvidia got
yesterday.
cheaper today. Meta
Uh-huh.
trading below 20 times forward. Amazon, and you got to look at EBITDA, but it's back in like the I think the 13 or 14 generally does 18 times EBITDA. So companies are getting attractive again, which I think, eventually you find a bottom. And to your point, you just let the chart tell you when. So is there something you're looking, is there a chart, obviously just outside of the S&P 500, is there some other indicator that you're looking at to determine where we might bottom out or to give you some comfort that we might be forming a durable bottom?
Yeah, I wanted to show you this. Can you see stock analysis? Am I
No, that's
sharing?
Discord again.
Oh my god, I don't know what is going on here, but let me see. Stop. Share something else. Let me see if
You're
I
all right.
can if I
Sometimes
can get it.
sometimes it's weird.
But yeah, and this is like live TV, So
No, it
do I
happens.
need
Not a
to
big deal,
pick
dude.
here? Okay. What
Yeah,
about
now
now?
I
Can you
see
see
it.
it?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Mhm.
take a look at the case of Nvidia, bro. So the stock is trading, or the company is trading at 28 times forward earnings, and take
Mhm.
a look at at how the forward P ratio went down, then from 32 down to 28.
Mhm.
And what is, I mean, what amazes me the most is this. So take a look at the revenue growth, bro.
No, I know. It's a huge,
Unbelievable.
big number.
$57 billion. And check this out. So revenue growth from a year over year basis started to go up once again after many, 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 many earnings reports. So I don't
Mhm.
know if we can actually say that this is as good as it gets. But what an unbelievable earnings report Nvidia released yesterday, and the stock went down today a lot. And I am wondering, like, unless we have some important investment firms in Wall Street, like knowing something that neither you and I know. Like, I don't know, maybe something is about to break in the economy, or we have a liquidity issue, or I don't know, effectively, Microstrategy is about to blow up, and this is going to have
A leverage
consequences
problem, yeah.
you're correct, in some banks like Deutsche Bank or whatever it is. So, you mean to tell me, bro, that after the earnings support that we got from Nvidia yesterday, a forward PE of, oh, by the way, I need to, no, no. So the forward PE is actually, let me see, lower,
Yep.
26
Today because of the decline.
because of the
Mhm.
decline. You mean to tell me that you don't have a lot of people willing to buy the dip with this company after having released one of the best, if not the best earnings report of the last 2 years, trading at 26 times forward earnings?
Yep. No, it's yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, this is
Can
very
you
impressive. Yeah,
can you show us what the earnings growth is quarter over quarter, year on year?
sure, sure. Let me go
Yep.
to the net income. So, net income growth, yeah, it only went up 65%
Is that
on a
over the
year,
quarter or is that at like year
on
over
a
year?
year-over-year basis. Come on,
So
Dan.
I want to point
Give
this
me a
out to
fucking break,
people.
man.
If you look at a 1 year chart of Nvidia, we don't need to pull it up. I'll just do the math for you.
Okay.
We closed today at $180 with some change. A year ago, Nvidia closed at around $146. So if you do the math there, that's a 23% return in Nvidia's stock price when the company has improved earnings by 65%.
And up guided
Nvidia's
and just
say
up guided.
yes, and they just upgraded.
Mhm.
Nvidia's earnings growth is outperforming the stock price growth. That is not irrational. That's the point I'm trying to make. People are like, people look at Nvidia and they're like, how could it be this big? How could it be 4 point, whatever trillion dollars? How could it be $5 trillion? Like, because they're doing this and no one else is. It's you can start looking over year time frames and the company has been outperforming the stock in all of them. And that's not a bubble. The bubble, you get the opposite. In a bubble, you would see the stock price go up 60% and the earnings only go up 20%.
Take a look at this, bro. Free cash flow went up quarter over quarter from 13.4 billion dollars up to 22.11 billion dollars.
Yeah,
We cannot make this up, brother.
yeah,
So, again, and to your point, and this is, I guess, that this is the main reason why we're doing this podcast today. We are not reviewing a lot of stocks as we
right.
usually do. Um, unless something weird is going on as of now, that
For
again,
sure.
we don't know. Neither you and I know. I don't know. Maybe something very ugly is about to happen in the economy, or say, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up here. Maybe MicroStrategy finally blows up, or maybe we have a tough situation in Japan as of now with
Yeah.
the with yields rising or something like that, that could, that could give rise to a major liquidity issue here in the US. So unless something unexpected is going on, this dip is very likely to be bought up down
No, I
before this year ends. Because I mean, come on, what else can you
mhm.
ask Nvidia for? I mean, come on, the report was
Well,
absolutely
what
phenomenal.
else can
So
you ask these companies for? They've done an excellent job executing.
correct,
If we take the closing high or the intraday high of the S&P, which was about 69.20.
bro, that thing went down today 200 points,
Yeah,
two
but if
more 200 points and change. Unbelievable. What a
a
drop.
10% correction from the S&P's all-time high would be 62.28, which is shockingly close, and we'll just pull it up one more time
Mhm.
to to a full retracement of the gain we've seen since August. So that's what 10% of damage in the S&P would bring us back 3 months. That's what I'm trying to make. And generally speaking, when you get to that 10% marker and you get the official correction, that's when investors and market participants need to see real damage in the fundamentals before they take stocks lower. At least that's kind of been the trend for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So
Are
said
you where are you
uh,
looking for a bottom, Alvaro?
um I mean, first of all, I am not going to be trying to guess about him.
Sure.
But say that we open the trading session tomorrow above the 100 DMA,
Mhm.
and I see, the dip getting bought up on Nvidia. Let me pull up here. Okay, so let me pull up the SPY just for
Oh, I
simplicity,
go ahead.
sim, just for simplicity purposes, because most people trade the SPY. If tomorrow we open above the 100 DMA, $652,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I would be interested in seeing if Nvidia goes up and if maybe Bitcoin, catches a break. I would be interested
I
in.
hate to cut you off. Let me
Mhm.
ask the question another way.
Okay.
Where are you looking for confirmation? Like, let's say the S&P goes up or goes down, and you can't look at the S&P to know if
Yeah.
if a bottom is formed. Like, are you looking at Nvidia? Are you looking at Bitcoin? Are you looking at credit spreads?
Yeah,
Like,
Nvidia and Nvidia has to go up. I mean,
okay,
Nvidia has to go up, and since Bitcoin has turned into a very important gauge for risk and assets, I would definitely keep an eye on Bitcoin. Definitely,
okay.
definitely. Spy wise or S&P 500 wise, I want to see the bulls holding a
Oh yeah,
support or being able to hold a support this rising 100 EMA, and preferably also being able to recapture the, as of now, downward sloping 5 DMA. It is signaling $662. And now the issue here is that we have overhead supply.
mhm,
So we are 6% of the most recent all-time highs, and we have buyers trapped on the way up. So you need fresh money when you come into the S&P 500 and when you come into the market. So those buyers that are trapped, we don't realize losses when they close those positions, breaking even, so they can be outnumbered
mhm,
by fresh money and fresh buyers that are interested in buying the dip, and that are potentially interested in having the SPY and the S&P 500 go up. So that is going to be interesting. But as of now, we have a lot of technical damage, and we'd better not open the training session tomorrow below this 100 EMA. By the way, Dan, I did a live stream
mhm.
last Tuesday with my mentor. By the way, his name is also Dan. So I did a
Oh,
live.
I watched the first 10 minutes of that. It just
There you
showed up in
go.
my YouTube. I watched a little of that. Yeah.
So he's my mentor, and we were, talking about the S&P 500, and both of us concluded that it would be it wouldn't be a big deal if we actually see a test of the 100 DMA, and
Oh
that
yeah.
is exactly what happened today. And again, that moving average is rising, so maybe this was it. I don't know. I mean, um,
It's interesting.
we need to follow the technical charts.
It's
That's what it is.
interesting because I just don't feel like I don't really feel like this. This is so ethereal, and it's just something that you get from doing it you get from doing it for a long time. This didn't feel like the bottom. This felt very slow, very measured, not a lot of panic. I feel like there's more to come. It might not be as crazy as it was today, but oftentimes the market doesn't give you an opportunity to think about buying when there's blood in the street. Like y- you're at the lows for a second.
Yeah.
You were at the lows today seemingly for 30, 40, 50. Like you had time to think about it. And I think, someone might wake up tomorrow and look at what happened. Maybe they weren't paying attention today and decide, let's just sell some stuff here. I want to get out too. This just didn't feel capitulatory to me. It felt too gradual and too orderly. It doesn't mean
Le-
we got to go down to like more and more fast, rapid. This just didn't feel definitive.
like a capitulation event,
Yeah, it didn't
and
feel.
volume was massive today, man. Massive, 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 massive.
Are you
And
talking about Nvidia? Or are you talking about
no,
Spy?
about the market as a whole. Yeah,
I mean,
into the closing bell, the trading volume on the SPY was massive, and the expansion of the volatility was, I mean, was very noticeable. By the way,
well,
another
that I
chart.
agree though. But this is the volume on the day. I mean, it's pretty
we
average.
we, we had, I mean, I didn't have the information handy, but last time I checked, we had almost um twice the regular volume on the SPY. And I mean, you can tell because of the volatility that the expansion of the volatility today was massive. And another chart, by the way, to keep an eye on is the VIX, of course, the volatility
Yeah.
index. Let me see. Oh no,
Sorry, I'm
sorry.
just looking at this. The Dow
Let
had 1.5 relative, Nasdaq. Yeah, I mean it was more than normal. Yeah,
mhm,
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Let me go ahead and take a look at a. Oh, by the way, and this is something that is worth pointing out. In the case of the VIX, you don't have neither buyers nor sellers. So
Yes,
there's
no,
no
it's just it- yeah, it's
this is
math.
just a mirror of the options market inside the S&P 500. So we
Yes,
cannot carry out any technical analysis on the VIX, but because there are no buyers, there are no sellers inside the VIX. But 20 points, it's some sort of a psychological level that we
yes,
should be
agreed.
keeping an eye on. And as of now,
Totally agreed.
yeah, the VIX is at 26 points. What was the high back in let me see, back in April? Oh, this thing went up to 59 points. Go figure. So
Was that April or was that something else?
no, it was April.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal. We introduced a
Oh
nuclear
no, for
bomb.
sure, for sure, for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, we introduced a nuclear bomb inside the world economy. And take a
Mhm.
look. The VIX went up to 60 points. So we cannot do any technical analysis on the VIX, but I mean, just taking a look at this 4 hour chart, it looks like there could be some more room to the upside, right? So,
Well,
but
there's a
again,
lot of
so
there's a
for
lot
me
of
to
sit- yeah.
be, and to your point, Dan, sorry,
Yeah.
for to your point, if I wanted to buy the dip, I would like to see the VIX below 20 points and the S&P 500 above the 100 and preferably the 5 DMA.
Sure, sure. I just one last thing about the VIX. It when you get VIX spiking to like, 30, 24, like it's not the most compelling buy signal to see it at 26. Seeing it at 30 is a little bit better, but that's when you start getting into the long-term investing statistics where if you invest on a day where the VIX spikes to 30 or spikes to 40 or spikes to 50, then, as the VIX is higher, you have an increasingly better chance of a year from now to have a gain. Basically, the all of that to say this, volatility is the only thing that mean reverts. It goes up and then it comes back.
Correct.
And so when I see it at 26, I'm like, okay, I think this might have been the worst, like the worst single day. Could be wrong. Like, who knows? Maybe we wake up in a couple days and the VIX is at 60 again for no,
You never know.
whatever. I mean, that's a bit extreme. But when you see a VIX at this level, generally I start to think that we either need to go up and we probably got to go up a little bit quicker, or we're just going to start reverting back down to a more normal volatility
Yeah.
environment.
And something that is worth pointing out here about the VIX as well, then, is that the value at which the VIX, the numerical value at which the VIX is trading at, it is simply showing you the expected move of the S&P 500 12 months out. So
Correct. Yes.
if the VIX closed today at 26 points, that implies that according to the options market, the S&P 500 could be either up or down 12 months out 26%. So the higher the VIX goes, the higher the uncertainty out there, because the S&P 500 could be up a lot or down a lot 12 months
Mm.
out. So that increases what? Fear. So
Yeah, of
people,
course.
you have more people buying put options than call options, and the VIX rises because of that. So I mean, if I tell you like, okay, the VIX closed today at 26 points, where do you see the S&P 500 12 months out? 26% up or 26% down?
Right.
What would you
Right.
say?
Right.
But
26% higher.
okay, you never
Well,
know.
here's the thing. This is what I think I'd like to close on as we're getting close to an hour here.
Yeah,
This could be, again, assuming nothing breaks. And I really don't think we're in danger of that yet, or at least I don't see the signs of that. And let's be honest, if micro strategies, whatever, if they blow, if their leverage thing blows up, yeah, it'll suck. But the stock market is so much bigger than the crypto market. I don't think that is going to. I don't think that represents a systemic event.
correct. You never
So
know, but it's unlikely.
we're yeah, right. We're in the scenario where we just had amazing earnings. The country is not going into a recession and stock prices are falling. This is the you close your eyes, you pick your levels and you buy. This is the correction in the market that doesn't come with a correction in the economy. I think that's what we might be in the midst of getting, and you will end up regretting not taking advantage. And the bottom's probably not going to come to, no one's going to know. You know what I mean? There's no way of calling the bottom for sure. You only know it in hindsight. But to me, when you talk about taking advantage of volatility in the market, this is the environment where you do it. Like, we're
Correct.
here. It's happening. So if you don't
And
have a plan, make one.
correct. And more importantly, we don't need to make any decisions based on whatever we think will happen with either MicroStrategy or the Fed or this and that, because that's what we have the technical chart for. So if something
Yes.
goes extremely wrong, the technical charts will let us know what to do. And if everything goes away and this was effectively a buy the dip opportunity, we will take advantage of that. So, I mean, if I tell you like, okay, the VIX closed today at 26 points, where do you see the S&P 500 12 months out? 26% up or 26% down? the technical charts will also let
Yeah.
us know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
Yeah. I
So,
like
bro,
it.
it's 54 minutes in. So this was a very special
This is a
edition
different
of Charts and
podcast.
Checks, different
Yeah,
podcast. Yeah.
I think we added some value there.
So
Thank Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Before wrapping it up, so we have like four concerns as of now. Fed,
Mm,
you and I can
fair,
coincide on the fact that they might be
fair,
cutting rates in
fair.
December. We'll see about that. Some
Wait,
big.
hold on, hold on.
What happened?
We agree that they're gonna cut in December,
Yeah.
right?
We both
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, okay, okay,
For
alright,
different
okay,
reasons, but
yep,
we agree
sure.
on that. Okay, because I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that they will cook the data. You
Yeah,
believe that
yeah,
it's
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
whatever. Okay. Then we have Microstrategy, which seems like a
I
real
would
concern
just
for the
call it
markets.
a leverage issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
leverage issue. Let's put it away.
Mhm.
Then we have the situation in Japan. Say,
Yen carry
um
trade coming back, right.
okay, and then we have the AI bubble. So everyone is investing like crazy on AI, and the markets are a bit, suspicious about the fact that the demand isn't there, despite the fact that, Jensen said otherwise yesterday. So this is
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sure, sure,
this is
sure.
the regular wall of worry. This is a
Yes.
regular wall of
Total
worry.
yes.
That's
100%
it.
agree. 100%
Correct.
agree.
Correct. That's
Uh,
it.
yeah, so yeah, no, that was very well done, Alvaro. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you everyone else for tuning in. Of course, if you're here, you already know where you can find Alvaro. He's also in the Discord. I'm sure there'll be links for that. You can find me at my blog or on my channel here at YouTube. One last thing to look out for: Friday is yes, Friday. I will be putting up a new video, 11 on 11, and then on Monday I'm going to release the second episode of Conversation from the Canopy. We brought Bastion back to talk about all the craziness happening in crypto. You're not going to want to miss
What a
that.
moment to do a
Mhm.
podcast about
All
crypto.
right,
Awesome.
guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, Alvaro. Take it
Take
easy.
care. Bye bye, buddy.